All right. Welcome back, listener, to the Forest Brothers podcast. It's your boy Mutsa Chris Down back in the cut. Happy to be with my people. I hope everybody has had a good weekend, a good week since we last checked in with one another. So, hello to you. And to my brothers, Nkosi and Samson, what's goody, what's goody? Mangoro, I was about to say hello to the lovely listeners out there, and then over to the boy Sange, and then we'll get started with the podcast today. Over to you, Mr. Mangoro.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mutta. Hello, lovely listeners out there. It's good to be back for us brothers. Week after week, we bring you more content. Hopefully, you tuned in. Interesting stuff going to be talked about today. So, yeah, tune in, grab a drink, and enjoy the podcast with us.
Hello, dear listener. This is the Forest Brothers podcast. Once again, it's great to be here with my two brothers, Maury, Mangor. Great to see you guys. Like the man Kosi just said, we're about to get into a lot of stuff today. So yeah, let's get started, boys.
Let's get started indeed. And listener, in case you have not done so already, remember, subscribe, comment, share, like, all the good stuff. Engage with us. We love all engagement. Tell your friends about the First Brothers podcast. If you love soccer, love football, tune in. Subscribe. Don't miss the new drops because we drop in every Monday and Wednesday, or every Monday or Wednesday. So just know we're going to be consistent with the drops. So subscribe. All right, cool. So, boys, getting into the meat of the pie here. Today we witnessed Chelsea versus Liverpool. We have a resident Chelsea supporter here in Mr. Mangoro. Maybe listener you can see, or viewer you can see, by the look on his face, he might still be recovering from what the shambolism he saw today in that game. It was a very interesting game to say, say none the least. But so I would actually want to hear Mr. Mongoro's first impressions about that loss to Liverpool. So Mr. Mongoro, how's about you walk through the listeners and tell us your feelings about that game that you saw today? Any reflections you have from your loss today?
Not necessarily reflections on my side, mainly reflections on, I'd say, the quality of refereeing that we're seeing. That's the first point of contact to mention. But all in all, when I watched the game, both sides, there weren't as many chances as I would expect. I would have expected, given that it was dubbed a high-profile game, so of the match of the weekend. And for me, like, it just didn't live up to the billing. Like, the two teams were, I'd say, mediocre. Like, it wasn't what I expected, because you look at both sides, and mainly from Chelsea's side. Like, when you look at Salah, who's been scoring goals, getting assists this season, he did get a penalty, but apart from the penalty, like, what do you do? You also did get the assist, but all in all, he had a quiet game. You look at on the Chelsea side, Palmer wasn't himself. Nani Madueke wasn't himself. Jadon Sancho didn't have a good game. He went off at halftime. Jackson, same thing. Like, apart from the goal, what did he do in the game in itself? Like, it was a lot of like battling in the midfield, a lot of loose passes. But for me, like, I would say it was it was like an even game, but like the quality of soccer today played across both teams, to me, wasn't the greatest. Maybe it was the international break. It had an impact on just the proceedings, but all in all, like, it was just not great for me. Like, I think a fair reflection of the game maybe would have been 1-1. Apart from that referee, I still don't know that referee's name, and I don't want to know that referee's name. He was an absolute disaster class, especially like for that second penalty that he gave. You saw what that was. Like, they overturned it very, very quickly. Like, that was terrible. Even the first one, like, it's so sad to see that this is the quality of referee we have in the Premier League. And that brother, another day, another week, he'll get another game next week, and people have forgotten about this. But today he had an absolute disaster class. And just to close out here, as Mikel Arteta likes to say, it was a disgrace. And I do agree with him. It was a disgrace. It was a disgrace what I witnessed today.
Mangoro, it low-key sounds like you're hating, though, on Salah a little bit. You said the man had a goal and an assist. If that penalty was given, he'd have had 2 goals. To me, that's a good game, actually. Like, if I look at the statistics, Liverpool had 9 shots and 5 of them on target. You guys had 12 shots and 2 of them on target. So, I don't know. Salah, to me, was actually looking quite dangerous in the game. Maybe Samson, you can agree. But I do think that the brother Salah actually had a decent game. Sucks for my FPL that he didn't have a decent game, but generally speaking, the brother was cooking a little bit today. He wasn't as horrible, I think. But maybe Samson, you have a different perspective.
Yeah, so first of all, just say in regards to the penalties that were given, obviously the second was overturned, but I was looking at them and I was like, man, we don't get those. you know, we have. You can look at there's like this stat that measures how many or what percentage of time teams spend in the opposition box. Arsenal spend just about the most amount of time in teams' boxes, and that's been the case for the past 2 years. We get hit so many times. We don't get those calls. We just. I thought the first one maybe has some merit because it's clumsy from the defender, but still, like, it's minimal contact. The second one looked like a pen, but he didn't get the ball. So, anyways, yeah, I thought Mo Salah was. I thought it was good, and I like this version of Mo Salah because I'm not sure if you guys remember, but last season, early in the season, I was very critical of Mo Salah because well, the season before actually. I was very critical of Mo Salah because I felt like he just stuck to the right wing when Liverpool weren't playing well. He would just stick to the right wing and play passes back, or just wait for a ball to come in behind, even if it's not like possible. He won't do anything else, and I think that's a big change he's made in the last year, where you're seeing him not just wanting to be a scorer, but also wanting to create for his teammates as well, which I think it's something he's very capable of. And I think it's something that really helps Liverpool um, just in moments like this, like in moments against Chelsea, where like they're not playing well, as a team. And in that team going forward, you look at the players they have. They're all inconsistent except for Salah. Salah's the only guy you can count on every week to consistently perform, and that's why you even saw Luis Diaz coming off the bench. If he started, he wouldn't have changed the game. He needed to come off the bench. And yeah, Mo Salah, I think he was good. He helped spark something with Liverpool today, helped them maintain some sort of momentum because Chelsea were dominating them like for most of the game, and I was surprised actually because Cole Palmer was quiet, and yet somehow Chelsea was still able to bother Liverpool and unsettle the defenders in quite a few times, especially in the first half and in the lead up to the first goal Chelsea scored. So yeah, but yeah, I think Mangro is right. Overall, the quality was a little lacking. I fully expected a 2-2, 3-2, 4-2 type of situation, but a pen and the absolute nonsense of a goal that Jones scored where Sanchez should be saving that. Um, it's just, it's meh. It's meh. That's all I can say.
Sanchez had an absolute terrible game today. Actually, maybe since Mongoro is a part of the goalkeepers union, maybe he can shed some light into maybe the boy Sanchez, because I heard like when the second penalty was almost given, they were saying that maybe that's why when the Chelsea second goal happened, or when the first Chelsea goal happened, no, when the second Liverpool goal happened, he didn't attack Jones in the space because he didn't want another penalty kerfuffle, but he had enough time to really react. And so, Mangoro, like, is it that Jones today was especially good? I think he was. Or was it that Sanchez was just especially bad? Which one is it? Or is it a mixture of both?
Simple, a mixture of both. That guy Sanchez, I think I've said my piece about him. I don't think any team is winning any Premier League title or doing serious damage in the league with that guy between the sticks. Simple. That's pretty much it. I'm just hoping that the guy we've signed, Mike Penders, apparently is the next Thibaut Courtois. So he'll be ready to step in the next year or two because I think we've seen enough from Sanchez that he's just started because like he's gonna keep on costing us. And like even like because that's the other thing. Like when you watch the team now, all aspects could be as dangerous as they were today. You saw Caicedo and Lavia bossing the midfield, dominating the Liverpool midfielders. Kind of, maybe I think it was a bit personal for them, given that they were once linked with Liverpool. So to see them today dominate at Anfield, I think now Liverpool fans know what they're missing out, what they missed out on. It was beautiful to watch, but I think at the back, like you can see with Sanchez and goal, even the defenders don't feel as confident, and that's the first line of defense. If your defenders are not that confident in you and your abilities, there was even a time I think he tried to play a left pass to reach James, and literally they intercepted, and luckily he caught it. He has these games where he can have a 10 out of 10, but he also has these games where he can literally have a 2 out of 10. So I don't know. All I ask of him is, like, I know he's not the greatest. All I ask of him is just to have consistent 7, 8 out of 10 games. That's all I ask of him. I don't ask him to be doing all these other things that he does. That's pretty much what I ask for Sanchez. But hopefully Maresca will speak to him. He'll sort of train, get better, more, and then like just forget about today's game, because today, like, but I can't blame him for the second goal. The second goal, there was nothing you could do there. It was kind of a unique situation. I think mainly it was Tosin. Tosin did fall asleep there, runner behind you. Like that was absolutely atrocious, because like they took him off like I think 5 minutes after that incident happened. Like you can't ball watch in the Premier League. You ball watch, you get punished, especially at the highest level against the big teams. So yeah, all in all, I think Sanchez, it is what it is.
Just one last thing on Chelsea players. I wanted to hear more about Sancho because I saw a few salty Manchester United fans on Twitter talking about, oh, now you see why we don't like Sancho. You saw him today. He lost a couple of passes, this and this and that. I saw a few of those comments, and to me, I was thinking, hey, yo, Sancho has been cooking this entire time he's been at Chelsea, and the one day he has an off game, now y'all want to act like, oh yeah, that's why we don't want, that's why we didn't want. I'm like, come on, guys, come on, have a bit more self respect. Leave the boy Sancho alone. But maybe that's just me because Sancho is my boy and all that. But maybe Mangoro, you can shed a bit more light on what your perceptions were about the boy Sancho. Like, is this the game he dropped today? Is this more like a one time, everybody was just playing badly? Because also Cole Palmer was not anywhere. And I didn't see it on online. I didn't see City fans saying, oh yeah, that's why we saw Palmer. He stinks. Like I didn't see that. But obviously they're going towards Sancho because the salty. They don't want the brother to be successful. So, but I don't know, maybe for you, you have a different perception on that as a Chelsea fan. Do you feel some animosity towards Jadon Sancho, or was that just a one bad game type of vibe?
Today Sancho had moments in the first half. That's all it was. Just a few moments here and there for the most part. I think one thing that he maybe constructive criticism that I can give him is he needs to start shooting a bit more, because he does get into some very good opportunities where he can shoot, but he often opts to pass, which kind of I think affects him and affects the style of play that we want to go to. But him being taken off, I think, was an okay decision. He did have, it wasn't the greatest game that he had. It just goes to show the strength and depth that we had off the bench, with Pedro Neto coming on to tear TAA to shreds, as everyone does in the Premier League. But that's a conversation for another day. But all in all, I think he didn't have as good a game, and I think that was just the team as a whole. And with just to comment quickly on the United fans on Twitter, I don't rate anyone who comments on Twitter, especially who supports Manchester United. I don't rate them like that highly. So whatever opinion they have is salary rich. I just can't accept it, honestly, because it's just one game. Like, what did you expect? Did you expect him to be 10 out of 10 in each game? These are humans. These are people at the end of the day. You can't be having a 10 out of 10 each game. Look at Palmer today. Look at Salah. Look at all the other players on the field that have been doing well this season. Not everyone had a good game. So all in all, you're just gonna see him as as he tries to. I think with Sancho, it's just he's trying to like get rid of all the coaching he was getting at Old Trafford. So you can see his quality, but then on the bad days, I do like to. I would like to say that maybe it's he's trying to uncoach himself from all the bad habits he learned there in Carrington, and he's trying to find himself again. Maybe he'll find himself, maybe he won't. We'll see. But all in all, I still maintain that it's a great deal on our side.
No, I love that. And finally, on that note, Samson, given what we saw today from Liverpool, how they're doing, the top of the league, are Liverpool strong title contenders this season? Like, do you put them above Arsenal, for example, or do you think that as they as the season progresses, they're gonna fall off somewhere, injuries, this and that. Slot is not good enough for the Premier League. I don't know. Van Dijk might get an injury, and that's that. I mean, because anyway, I'm just curious as to do you think that they're gonna keep it up as they've been going, or at some point do you think that they fall off and bottle it or whatever? Well, yeah. Anyway, Liverpool title contenders. How strong are those claims, Mr. Sangi?
First of all, I'll just say I think Sancho is going through a 10-step program to forget what he learned at United. I think he's halfway, might finish it soon. Liverpool, I currently I think you'd have to include them as contenders because I'll say what I see about them that I like is that they have an ability to they and I'm going to compare this to Klopp. They minimize risk, which I think is a useful tool for any coach. Whereas that game today, I think if Klopp had been in charge, Chelsea would have had more of a chance because Klopp is attack all the time. And even when that's not, necessarily working, whether the players are tired or, things aren't like meshing on the pitch, he won't have a second like phase of play goes to where he says, okay, you guys drop back now for a little bit. Let's just pass the ball around. Like, but that's what Slot does. You'll see Liverpool high press sometimes, they'll drop into a block sometimes. They will play keep ball sometimes. Actually, a funny thing at the end, they were attacking at the end, which the commentator commented on, like in the 95th minute. They were still launching through balls forward, and the commentator was like, "Why are they doing that? Like the game's about to end." But I guess that's some of like the Klopp stuff that they still have in their DNA. But overall, they tend to like minimize the risks that any game would have, and I think that's something that Slot does as a manager. Even taking players off, he took Trent off, not because Trent was necessarily playing bad, but because he was like, I don't want you to do anything. I don't want you to make a mistake. He does that to Robertson as well. He took off. He's been taking off Luis Diaz most games because he's like, hey, you've been working, you've been doing stuff. Let me try something on someone else. And all that does is you're minimizing the amount of risk you can have. You're minimizing mistakes. You're minimizing opportunities the opposition gets. And if you can keep doing that, and you have the occasional like Salah magic here and there, Diaz doing something special, Van Dijk and Konate being relatively solid, against most teams, then you're gonna get a lot of points. And we're gonna talk about Arsenal, and contrast them later, but they haven't gotten a single red card yet. They haven't shot themselves in the foot at any point this season. Maybe in the game they lost, you can say a little bit, but they haven't beaten themselves. So when you have that sort of setup and you keep picking up wins, even when you don't play well, you're going to challenge. So yeah, I expect to see them challenging. Maybe they'll fall off because Allison's out. I know there were a few injuries, so maybe that hurts them. But so far they're looking good.
Okay, yeah. Well, Liverpool fans, I hope you feel some hope. I hope, and I mean, I'm sure today you're feeling very great. Being on top of the league is a very great feeling. So hold on to that, Liverpool fans, because you never know when it's snatched away from you. And yeah, so thanks, boys. Appreciate that. And with that, listener, I believe that is it for this segment of the First Brothers podcast. And yeah, hopefully, we did that game justice. Let us know in the comments if there's anything we left out or anything else you'd like us to chat about in that game, or if you have any thoughts about the game yourself, feel free to just drop them in the comments and let us know. And with that, yeah, thank you, listener. Mongoro Sangi, any last words? And yeah, we'll close it off.
Can someone send me the name of that referee? That's all I have to say, listener. Just send me the name of that referee, and I'll have a conversation with him and Howard Webb.
Yeah, I have no words for the referee. I don't need to find him. I'm good.
Hey there, Rev. Yeah, and with that, listener, thank you so much. And we'll catch you on the next one. So, peace out.